This video is made possible by the Signs of Life community on Patreon. Are you ready to take your ambient skills to the next level? Or maybe you're just starting out and looking for more tutorials for the absolute beginner? On Patreon, you'll not only find tons of exclusive tutorials and presets, but you'll also find videos on specific topics such as mixing, compression, arrangements, ambient textures and layering, and so much more. If presets and samples are your thing, you'll also find over 70 Patreon exclusive preset packs, as well as exclusive construction kits complete with MIDI files so you can get a head start on your next track. And finally, if you want personal one-on-one instruction for ambient, sound design, and music production, check out the ambient coaching tier. I've already changed the lives of hundreds of clients, and I know I can do the same for you. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today and join us. Link is down below in the description. What's up guys, Chris here from Signs of Life, back again with another ambient tutorial. In today's video, I wanted to break down how to create one of these deep, vital soundscapes. You know, someone on my Patreon asked me, how do you create a patch with this level of depth? And I'm like, well, that would be a great tutorial, wouldn't it? So let's go ahead and I'm just gonna show you one of the patches that was in this recent Patreon pack. It was Patreon Micro Pack 34, Soundscapes for Vital. And yeah, here's what this patch sounds like. It's called Gravity Vortex. And I'm gonna put it on the screen here so y'all can see it. Let's go ahead. I like this patch. You know, when I was creating, I was like, I want something that has a little bit of movement. Well, a lot of movement actually, that actually has some pitch modulation here. You can see there's pitch going on. And yeah, just an overall sense that like, yeah, this is a really deep soundscape and things are happening. So that's what we're gonna try to recreate here. I'm gonna break this patch down bit by bit in a process of just, you know, creating something from scratch. So let's go ahead and initialize the preset. What I like to do is I like to kind of start with some wavetables. Now I have tons of tutorials on creating wavetables. If you haven't seen any of my wavetable creation tutorials, I usually start right here. So it's more like just randomizing this position, randomizing the phase. This is the harmonics up here in the phase. And we're zoomed in 8 times right now. So you can either keep it right here and just right click and clear right. And then randomize the phase again, maybe clear out some of these, lessen the harmonics here. So you have a nice cool shape, right? Those shapes help create and sculpt the sound. You go ahead and give this a play, right? And then you can repeat that process a couple more times. So I'm gonna randomize it, clear right, randomize the phase again. Now you can see we have a completely different wavetable. You can lower that amount. So it gives a nice contrast. Listen to this. All right, so we go from one stage of the wavetable and then to the next keyframe. We're in a much smoother place because I've chopped off all those harmonics. Let's go ahead and do this one more time. We'll go randomize, randomize. Let's make this one a little bit more harmonic-like with some higher harmonics. So let's go ahead and zoom out 4 times. We can add some harmonic spikes over here. Gives a little more grit. So now you can hear we have 3 different like textures, right? And that's really what I'm looking for with any given wavetable, okay? Just contrast, because when you're sweeping through these kind of things, you want to have it feel like it's in motion all the time, right? So let's do this the last time. We'll randomize this, We'll go back to 8 times zoom, which is a much easier way to work. And we'll make this a nice smooth one. We'll randomize it. We'll clear right, so it removes those harmonics. Spread out these keyframes here. Okay, I'm happy with that, right? So that's a 4 keyframe wavetable. And as you can see, now we've created this cool wavetable right here, right? And that's a good place to start. You can just go ahead and start composing from there. You can resynthesize the thing. You can do all kinds of stuff, right? So now let's adjust the attack here to around 5 seconds, lower the sustain down around 75%, up the decay to about 5 seconds, and the release to about 5 seconds. Zoom out. We'll go ahead and make this a little more concave. And there's the start of our patch, okay? And now let's go ahead and let's do some wavetable motion. Now, what I like to do with these patches is I really like to emphasize the randoms and get that random sense of motion, but not too fast, right? You can do all kinds of tricks here. So let's go ahead and use random 1 here on the wavetable position. But as you can immediately hear, too fast is too fast, right? So let's lower down the tempo of this to like 4/1. And what we can do is we can actually utilize the mod matrix to alter the speed, have another random alter the speed of that other random. You can't just drag this over here to tempo. What you can do is you can say, all right, let's say random 2 is going to adjust on the randoms over here. You say random 1 LFO tempo, right? And then you can modulate the amount here. So now you can see that random 1's tempo is being modulated by random 2. That's cool because that gives us some more random motion in our actual speed that this wavetable is moving. All right? It's unpredictable, and I like that. So now we can use this random 1 in all kinds of other destinations, right? So I really like that little trick there to use another random to modulate the speed of the first random, and then you can use the first random to do whatever you want. Now, let's go ahead and give some spectral distortion here. We can do the same thing with the harmonic stretch, right? And we can use this cool random thing, right? That gives us a lot of cool harmonic options, right? We can adjust the stereo phase of this, right? That's cool. So now we're in full stereo. You can hear that immediately change the sound, right? But what if that first random was tied to the stereo, meaning that it's auxiliary modulating that. So now we have a bit of more randomness in our stereo modulation. That's really nice. Now let's add some unison here. Lower down the detune amount. Okay, now we're cooking. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right? So we have a real good harmonic bass here that we're working with, all right? And now let's go ahead and add a filter here. So this filter we can do the same thing. We can add random 1 to the modulation over here. That's cool because now it's modulating at different speeds. I like that. We can stereoize the filters. We can add that second random to the stereoization of the filters. So now they're moving differently. You can see that they're starting to split apart. Right? We can slow the tempo of this down to make it more ambient-like. We can slow the tempo of this one down. There we go. See, now we have all kinds of organic movement in this patch. It's really quite nice. All right, so let's go ahead and add a sub-oscillator, and we'll go basic shapes, and let's go ahead and just make this a triangle shape. We'll lower down the octave by hitting Shift and lowering it down to 12. There we go. It's a nice sub-oscillator there. I like that. Very cool. All right, now let's add some of that pitch locked random movement that I was talking about. All right, so let's go ahead and just turn on oscillator 3. And what we're gonna do is put oscillator 3 through filter 2. And then I'm gonna use one of those noise wavetables in here. We have brown noise, we have pink noise, we have white noise. Let's use pink noise here. And as you can see in 3D view, pink noise is just a bunch of noise here, right? But what happens when you start modulating the pitch of this? It sounds really cool, and especially with a lot of reverb and delay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, all right? So you can hear that this is going through Oscillator 3, right? This filter over here, right? But let's use another random, and we're gonna put it in sample and hold mode, and then we're gonna put it on 1/8. What happens when we tie this random, which is, as you can see, a more linear style random algorithm than the default per lin. What happens when we tie that to the pitch? Crazy stuff, right? It sounds all wild, right? Then that's because it comes in default at 48 semitones, but it's completely random. Now, here's the power of Vital here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a value of, say, 12. And then over here, we're gonna grab the pitch, the transpose snap, right? And we're not gonna use the blue snap, we use the purple snap or the pink snap in my candy cave, right? And we're gonna pitch this, lock this to, I don't know, some notes here, right? In C minor. Right? And you can hear that the notes that I'm choosing are in the scale of C minor. It still doesn't sound that great, but let's see what happens when we up the octave here. There we go. You can choose other notes. That actually sounds pretty good. And we can also modulate the position here. There we go. Make it bipolar. And you can play around with the octave here. Just hold shift and move it around. If that doesn't work for you, there you go. I like that. We can also use this random to modulate the panning position of this. Right click on it, make it bipolar. I mean, we're cooking here. This is awesome. Look how many, this already has 4 things on it. There we go. We can use this random, our master random over here to modulate the filter position. I like this. Sounds so good. All right, let's add some effects. We're gonna come over here and you can either go multi-band or single band. Multi-band gives it that OTT style, which might not be right for a soundscape. So let's go single band. We're going to make the attack kind of quick, but the release kind of slow. I like the way that sounds. Okay. And let's go ahead and add some delay here. We'll make it a ping pong. And we'll make, what I like to do these days is I like to make something kind of slow and then something kind of fast, right? So that's a dotted half note and a regular old 16th note, okay? In a ping pong setting. Increase the mix here. That sounds kind of cool with Soundscape, right? There we go. And you can use LFOs here to play with the filter position here. Like we could take a, 4 of a 1, put it in sync. Lower the amount down. There we go. So now we're getting some deeper tones out of it because this LFO is slowly pushing those 2 random filter positions up and down. But that's giving us some nice contrast, right? Because that's allowing this pink noise pitch lock thing to shine through. I like that. Oh, that's good. All right. Now, before we add any reverb, and as a final touch, let's add a bit of sample modulation here. So let's go ahead and grab, I've got a bunch of my own personal, let's use the pins one. These are just things that I've recorded here at studio, right? Some pins, right? Ooh, that might be really interesting. But let's go ahead and see what we can do with pitch modulation here. So we'll go ahead and up it by 12. Ooh. Instead of the sample oscillator being filtered through here, let's filter through there. There we go. Nice. We can pitch that up to plus 24. Nice. And we can use a simple LFO here, 2 over 1, to modulate the panning of this and make it bipolar. So it's going left and right. There we go. So now our pins are going back and forth. We also have that crazy delay here, right? Which could be dotted or not. It could be tempo synced. pitch modulating or modulating the tempo would be kind of wild too, but I think that would create too many artifacts. All right, this is sounding good. Let's go ahead and give it the final touch here. We'll put an EQ on it and see if it needs any high pass and low pass. Maybe a little bit here. There we go. Yeah, we'll chill it out right here. And finally, let's add some reverb. Give it a big size, give it some more time, and a big old mix. And here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, I love it. On the upper octaves, I mean, this just sounds gorgeous, right? And that's the power of Vital. You can use all of these different randomization techniques. It's got stereo. We didn't even get into like pressure, velocity. You can go absolutely crazy. And when I first encountered Vital 2 years ago, it was like, oh my God. It's the perfect palette and the perfect toolbox to give you everything that you need to make any kind of sound. Whether it's a soundscape or it's random sounds or like sound effects or anything. And it's free. I mean, that's like nuts. And as you can see, I didn't use any like extra wavetables. The only thing I used was my own field recording in the sample oscillator, but that's it. You make your own wavetables, use the factory stuff, built-in effects. You got it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Oh man. My love for Vital continues. I'm gonna save this. This is gonna be good. I'll put this in Anomaly 3. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for your time and attention. If you want more tutorials like this, be sure to check out my Patreon. I do tutorials like this every single week. I mean, they know. People who are on my Patreon know. You guys are spoiled over there. I'm really going hard on Patreon. So if you want exclusive content, tutorials, presets, the Side Circle, a track feedback group, we meet twice a month, or that personal touch of one-on-one ambient coaching, head on over to Patreon. My link will be down below in the description. I've got commercial packs available for Vital, Anomaly 1 and 2, and Anomaly 3. It's coming. I'm gonna put a save on this right after this video. Another soundscape. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Take good care, and as always, keep your heads in the clouds and your feet planted firmly on the ground. My name is Chris from Signs of Life. See you guys in the next one.